News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moscow.
Karen, we begin with the latest on the global trade war. President Trump is planning substantial tariff cuts in an effort to fight high food prices. Let's get the details now from Bloomberg's Monica Ricks.
President Trump's tariff cuts would address high food prices and unveil new framework agreements with Argentina, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Ecuador to help reduce tariffs on common grocery items like beef, bananas, and coffee beans. The Trump administration claims lower trade barriers in Latin American countries will help boost U.S. businesses and expects retailers and wholesalers to pass any benefits, including lower prices, onto American consumers. The push follows big Democratic wins last week in a number of key state and local races where candidates focused on affordability. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, Monica, thank you. On Capitol Hill, the Jeffrey Epstein files are about to be front and center. The House is heading for a vote next week on a bill that would require the Justice Department to release its documents on the late sex offender. Republican leaders have resisted the bill since it was first introduced in July. Newly sworn-in Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva was the deciding signature on a petition to bring it to the House floor.
I hope that it passes the House without any issue and that the pressure then goes to senators, because regardless of who is implicated, no one should want the label of protecting pedophiles.
And Democratic Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva was a guest on Bloomberg's Balance of Power. Catch the full conversation on the Bloomberg podcast page on YouTube. This vote comes after Democrats released emails from Epstein that suggested President Trump, quote, knew about the girls. The White House says Democrats cherry-picked the documents to smear the president.
Well, Karen, now that the government shutdown's over, the nation's airlines hope to get their schedules back on track by Thanksgiving. The FAA has frozen flight cutbacks at 40 major airports at 6%, but it's not saying when that order will be lifted. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is saying that transportation security workers who work through the shutdown without pay will get a $10,000 bonus.
What that means is that we are going to not only continue their paychecks like they should have received all along, but also they're going to get a bonus check for stepping up, taking on extra shifts, for showing up each and every day, for serving the American people.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem made the announcement at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston. Airlines say they should be back to full capacity within 3 to 4 days once the order to limit flights is lifted.
Well, Nathan, the cancellation of flights is not only having a big effect on passengers, it may also have a major impact on the economy. Anna Wong is chief U.S. economist for Bloomberg Economics.
If Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, and FAA indeed push through this, over 10% cancellation of flights in Thanksgiving, we could have an additional permanent GDP loss of 0.2 to 0.3 percentage point for the quarter.
And Bloomberg's Anna Wong says Americans are estimated to spend around $60 billion on travel this Thanksgiving.
Well, Karen, doubts are growing this morning on whether we'll see a December rate cut. Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari tells Bloomberg he did not support the central bank's last interest rate decrease. He's still undecided on the best course of action for December. That's a point echoed by San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly.
To my mind, it's premature to say definitely no cut or definitely a cut. What's more important is to say the direction of change in policy is looking like it be towards neutral.
San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly and the rest of the central bank's next interest rate decision is on December 10th. Right now, traders are pricing about a 50-50 chance of a cut.
Well, Nathan, concerns the Fed will stand pat next month are taking their toll on stocks. Futures are lower once again following yesterday's tech-driven sell-off. The Nasdaq dropped 2.3%. Still, Mike Wilson, chief U.S. equity strategist at Morgan Stanley, sees good signs in the stock market.
We are now seeing double-digit earnings growth on a year-over-year basis for the median stock, and that's the first time we've seen that kind of growth in 4 years. So I think there are early signs that we're seeing a broadening of the earnings story, and that's what ultimately will lead to better, broader performance in the stock market next year.
Morgan Stanley's Mike Wilson's bull case for stocks next year sees the S&P 500 hitting 7,200. That's more than 6% above current levels. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.